Alrighty, well, why don't we dig into the recap, and then we'll jump into the game. So, who can tell me what we did last time? What did we do 2 weeks ago?
Right, 2 hours ago.
Andrew.
I mean, I read the recap, so I can. I was just waiting to see if anybody else was going to.
I like it when you do it. It's more exciting that way.
That's fair. We wandered around the Bone Brambles for about 72 hours because we never could find our way. Failed miserably at the skill challenge, and then I think we got to Red Ruth and stopped.
I think we actually burned through all of the challenges because we failed so many times, and we just had to move on because Jamie didn't have any more.
I will say, if that's what failing the skill challenge was, I'm not going to be as stressed next time we have one.
It all depends on what the skill challenge is about. Like trying to get across that flaming bridge, the broken bridge that you guys had to get across where Digger almost fell in like 3 times. That would have some serious repercussions. The repercussions for failing the skill challenge is trying to get through the Bone Brambles was simply running into some of its less than friendly denizens.
Cappy, I'll keep my blood pressure raised for next time.
I mean, I can make them more deadly if that's what you're asking for, Andrew. I'm totally down with that.
I'm good. You know what? I like the ones that we can lose and still progress. I like those.
I know that Audrey likes puzzles, so.
Well,
Yes.
I am.
I forget. Are we on an XP track or a milestone track?
So we switched back over to milestone simply because it works a little bit better with the way we're modifying this chapter. That's all.
Okay.
Fixed.
Well, I was gonna say failing then gets us more XP, which levels up us faster, but now that doesn't matter.
Well, so while we did have some difficulties with the skill challenge last time, you were able to find the center of the Bone Brambles. And we had ended off with you guys about to get to meet Red Ruth, the Divination witch that you were sent here to find. Who can tell me why we're looking for her?
Unicorn.
Well, the Guardian said that the Guardian of the Unicorn prison, Zapper, said that Red Ruth might know how to release her from her task. And if we release her, then we can free Uni.
Uni.
That was a better description.
Yes.
That is correct, sir. So as we are trying to find Red Ruth so that we can see if she can provide us some kind of a divination that'll allow us to free Ralzala, and thereby giving us access to Uni, who is a friend of Lulu's from before, or I should say during the charge of the Hell Riders when Zariel fell and became the Archduke of Avernus. So Lulu is heavily invested in trying to free her friend. We are seeking a way to allow Ralzala to dissolve her oath to Zariel so that we don't have to fight her. And to do that, that's why we're here looking and trying to talk with Red Ruth. All of that is kind of circuitous. Who can tell me what our main goal is? What is it overall that we're trying to find?
The sword, or the hiding place of the sword, right?
Yeah, where what's her name's? Angel's sword is, right?
Yep. The lost sword
Zariel.
of Zariel. Yep. That Lulu and Yael had tried to take out as Zariel was falling, and they were unable to do so. They cast some magic together that created a large eruption of earth and hellfire that wrapped around the sword, creating a monument somewhere in Avernus that we have come to find is called the Bleeding Citadel, but it is hidden somewhere in the mist. We're trying to find it, hoping we can find somebody that can give us some clues and some direction. That went okay. That's a pretty good recap. That went well, folks. I've just handed out inspiration to a couple of y'all for giving me some inputs on that. So thank you. Real quick, one of the things that we didn't cover last time that I want to get sorted away before we actually go into the role play with Red Ruth is that as you were going through the Bone Brambles, you had fought some shambling mounds, you had fought the dryads, and I didn't really give you an opportunity to try to search them, even though we would have been able to do that in game. I was trying to kind of keep things moving because we had a very long session last time. We went almost 4.5, close to 5 hours. But there were some goodies there. Specifically, there were 2 items that I wanted to make sure you guys had access to if you wanted to grab them. So let me just jump here into my notes real quick. That's the one I wanted. So there were, you found one piece on the shambling mounds, you found the other with the dryads. The first is so it was 2 magic items that we had. So you guys are going to get to discuss and determine who wants to get them. The first was a Hat of Disguise. So this is a magical or wondrous item that allows you to cast the action, as an action, you can cast the Disguise Self spell at will. The spell ends if the hat is removed. So basically, while you're wearing this hat, you can cast a Disguise spell as an action anytime you want, changing the way that you look. The Disguise Self spell, you basically, your armor, your clothing, your weapons, anything that's on your person, your belongings, you can make it look different until the spell ends, until you use an action to dismiss it. You can make yourself look 1 foot shorter, 1 foot taller. You can make yourself look thinner, fatter, anywhere in between. You can't change your body type, so you have to adopt a form that has some of the same basic arrangement of limbs. You couldn't make yourself look like a spider or a rhino, for example. You're going to be stuck looking like a humanoid. The changes to the spell don't necessarily hold up to physical inspection, but you can certainly try to use it to hide from folks where they would have to do investigation or perception rolls to try and see if they were able to figure out if you were hiding something. But that is the first of the 2 items. So that's the Hat of Disguise. The other is a homebrewed weapon, magical weapon called Piercer. Piercer provides you a 1+ bonus to attack and damage rolls. It's basically a short sword, but it's it's almost like large dagger sized. So it's a pretty small weapon. It does require attunement, but it gives you again, a +1 to attack and +1 to damage. But it does have one additional effect. Characters that are attuned to the sword and receive its benefits will regain the maximum possible number of hit points on a rest. So normally when we rest, you roll your hit dice and it's whatever comes up is what you get back. With this, you automatically get back the maximum of your hit dice. But there is one caveat to that. A attuned character to this weapon has to eat twice as much food each day. A minimum of 2 pounds of food to avoid exhaustion. So that's what you guys were able to find as you dug through the shambling mound. Just about everything else was rotten armor and weapons and things like that. But you found these 2 pristine items. The Hat of Disguise and Piercer. So I'll let you guys discuss who wants what, put it in the bag of holding, or does somebody want to use it and add it to their inventory immediately?
I have a question about the hat. Does the hat require any type of attribute roll?
No, so it's basically you, at any point in time, you can use that action to cast the Disguise Self spell. It's technically, so Disguise Self is a 1st level spell that lasts for an hour in the Illusion School. It doesn't have a component cost. It's just a verbal and somatic action in terms of being able to use it. There is nothing that you have to roll to be able to, you just basically say, hey, I'm using this. This is what my illusion looks like. If you're trying to fool somebody, like let's say you were using it to try and look like a prison guard to get past other guards to free somebody, we would do stuff like where they would have to have passive investigation or passive perception. You could do persuasion rolls, things like that to try and make it stick. But there's no like specific attribute that it plays off of, anything like that. It's just you get immediate access to that disguise self spell.
Well, if nobody else calls it, I would like the hat.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
And
we
you know,
can certainly pass it around to if anyone needs it.
I've got my helm already, so I think I'm good.
And is anybody interested in the +1 short sword piercer?
That sounds like a Nikki thing too.
I was about to call it if nobody else was going to call it.
It's all yours.
I'll take any stabby. I love the stabby.
Okay, I just added the hat of disguise to your character sheet. Let me grab piercer here. So piercer will require you to become attuned, so you won't be able to use it yet until after we take a rest. You are gonna to attunement. It's gonna take overnight, but I will add that to your sheet, and when we take our next rest, I'll get you attuned. Does not require. There we go. I think the hat requires attunement as well. Let me just check it here. No, it doesn't require attunement. You can just wear the hat at any point in time, so we don't need that. Cool. Okay, so that was the stuff that we found on the Dryads and the Shambling Mounds.
I do.
Go ahead.
The music sounds like depressed Blade Runner scene.
Let me do this here. And I'm gonna switch us all back over into the Bone Brambles, where we find ourselves. So at the very end of the last session, you may remember you had fought the Shambling Mounds as they fell, crumbling back into their kind of disparate parts of dark, decaying roots and bits and pieces of the different animals, creatures, and people that they had absorbed into themselves. You saw this figure come walking out of a dark cave entrance just to the west. She had walked up kind of tisk-tisking, hobbling along. She came forward and was telling you that it is so hard to find good guards, and here you are just hacking your way through her forest, and she had invited you into her cave and told you that it was tea time. She'd been expecting you. So in front of you, kind of off from the battlefield where you had just fought the Shambling Mounds, you see that there is a cave-like hovel that lied at the very center of the maze. Hundreds of bones and body parts were hung by twine from the entrance, and the ceiling that you can just kind of see from the doorway is strung with garland made of bloody entrails. The air was buzzing with flies, and she waves at you and says, "Oh, dearies, it's time for tea. Please come inside. We've much to discuss." And she kind of disappears into the darkened cave entrance. What would you guys like to do? Oh, and I see Corey has joined us.
Good evening.
Hey, Corey, how you doing?
Huzzah!
Been better, but still doing it.
Alrighty. So here we are. You guys are kind of arrayed in front of the cavern entrance, the cave entrance. What would you like to do?
I want to roll an insight check to see if this is a trap. Or whatever skill it would be.
If you want to try and roll insight and see if you can trust what she was saying, you certainly can.
I do, 100%.
Yeah. You know,
She's the most trustworthy looking person I've ever seen.
You 100% believe that she is a divination witch and knew that you were arriving, and that she has, you know, tea on the boil waiting for you to be here.
Oh, goody.
I say let's go in. I'll head in and be like, oh yay, I'm so excited for some tea.
If it's good enough for Moon, I'm going to go in.
All right, so as you begin to move into the cave, the narrow entrance quickly opens up into this giant candlelit cavernous space filled with eerie echoes, kind of reminiscent of low chanting. Smells of blood and limestone fill the air. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you realize that there are small black candles melting messily all about the space. They light up these translucent crystals in the rock, and they reveal a small fire in the center of the cavern ringed with skulls. There's a massive infernal iron cauldron hanging from the ceiling above the flames, and a thick green liquid bubbles slowly inside as steam and smoke rise up out of the cauldron. As you look about the room, a shadow fills the air, and a chill crawls over your flesh. Something is moving in the darkness around the edges of the cavern. You catch sights of her through the darkened spaces in the air. At first, just kind of these shuffling noises in the haze, but then rapidly it sounds like it's closer and clearer. It's as if every step you take in carries you 10 paces forward. As you look back over your shoulder, you realize that the entrance is much farther behind you than you thought it would. The light of the outside fading quickly from the small portal entrance of the cavern. As you turn back, there is Red Ruth, all too near and close to you, the darkness vanishing behind her hunched back. Suddenly, standing before the fire, she smiles, revealing teeth like tumbled tombstones, and she chuckles darkly at all of you. In her hands is a delicate tea set arranged atop an old wooden shield. She sets it down carefully on the ground in front of her and begins to make tea with boiling water. Come in. We've much to talk about. Please join me.
Are there seats?
As you move forward, almost as if out of the shadows, it's as if there is now a series of heavy, thick carpets and rugs laid beneath where she was standing. The shadows seem to pull back a bit from her, almost as if they're fighting the light around the fire, but slowly they kind of ebb away from where she is standing, away from the teapot. And you realize that there are large pillows arranged in a circle with her at what would be, say, the 12 o'clock position on a clock. There are pillows arranged around from there with the tea set in the middle.
I sit down.
Excellent. I'd like everybody to go ahead and roll a perception check for me. Audrey's rolling high tonight. So Audrey, Moon, and Olin, as you see Moon move forward and begin to take a seat around one of the cushions, each of you individually at different times looks back and you realize that the light that would indicate where the cavern door was, where the cavern entrance was, where you first came in, is gone. It is as if you were sitting in this small lit space around this fire, ringed with skulls, with this hideous-looking hag making tea for you, and the entrance light has disappeared.
I'm sure that's perfectly normal.
And just in case you're wondering what she looks like, that's Red Ruth.
I would like to use Detect Thoughts.
Alrighty. That is a second level spell. So as you cast Detect Thoughts, give me the thoughts of, So it's a DC 13 wisdom saving throw, but I believe Detect Thoughts you can choose how deep you go. So I'm taking it you're going to focus on Red Ruth. She's got intelligence 300. She's unaffected. So you can kind of initially learn the surface thoughts, what's most on her mind. You can either shift your attention to another creature or attempt to probe deeper. If you probe deeper, that's when they make a wisdom saving throw. So my question for you is going to be, do you want to just kind of skim her surface thoughts, or do you want to try and probe deeper, which then she'd have to do that DC 13 wisdom saving throw?
The probe deeper.
Okay.
I knew you were going to say that.
That is going to be a fail. So as you describe what it looks like. So she's making the tea and she's kind of, indicating to come up, grab a seat, that kind of thing. Casting Detect Thoughts has a verbal, a somatic, and a material cost along with the concentration. So you've got to speak some words. There are some hand gestures or body gestures, something along those lines, something that fits your bard class. So what does it require for you to cast a spell? And how are you kind of hiding it so she doesn't pick up on you doing that?
I yell caca, and then I make an armpit fart at the same time. I see the eyebrows pitch in her face, but then I detect her thoughts.
Let me just do this here for us real quick. I'm just going to put a light here in the space so that everybody can see things, because that's going to change Audrey's concentration to detect thoughts rather than dancing lights. Okay. So as you do that, Red Ruth looks up quickly and kind of listening to, as you do the caca, it echoes as if you guys are in some kind of huge open space. Even though you would swear the ceiling wasn't that high, the walls weren't that far when you walked in, but it sounds as if this caca, this bird sound you make, it's as if it echoes and echoes and echoes and echoes further and further out. Red Ruth kind of looks up and around and turns and looks at you and smiles, and then goes back to making the tea. And as she does, the thoughts that you get is that she really wants to make a deal with all of you. That she knew you were coming, and that she is manipulating events to get what she wants out of this.
Better be some good stuff in that tea.
So what are the rest of you doing? So Moon stepped forward and sat down. Audrey stepped forward, casting Detect Thoughts as she grabbed her seat with a little bit of subterfuge. What is everybody else doing?
Alatar's just going to follow suit.
I'm not thirsty, so I'll just sit there.
Yeah, Olin is having none of it. He's just going to, passively sit there quietly with an annoyed look on his face.
So she continues to make the tea, letting it steep for a second. She snaps her fingers, and suddenly there is a giant fluffy black velvet pillow with tassels on it that appears behind her. She gently places her skirts and arranges them. The clatter of bones from the skulls and knuckle bone belt that she's wearing as she sits down. She turns, she says, and she kind of sets the teapot to the side. She says, "That will have to sit for a minute, but we can have a conversation." So she looks around at each of you and says, "So you've come to Red Ruth. Clearly you've heard that I offer divinations and potions. I knew you'd be here, of course. It's the power of being a diviner. But what exactly is it that you wish of me?"
We have come across a friend of ours that is imprisoned in a giant demon zapper. It's a unicorn, and we would like to free it, but first we need to help the guardian of the device. And if we can free the guardian of the device, they say that they will let us free the unicorn.
So as Severius begins to talk, Red Ruth's head whips around to him, and it's like her eyes lock onto you, and it's as if the rest of the room kind of turns into black and white. It's as if the color leaches out of things, and she's just staring right into you. You feel this kind of hissing, humming sound, but it's not as if it's in your head or in your ears. It's almost like it's in your chest. It lasts for just the briefest of seconds, and then she turns away. And she looks at the rest of the group. She's like, this one would be very straightforward. He's used to command. Born a noble, raised a noble. Do the rest of you follow him? Or do any of you have thoughts in your pretty little heads?
Sure, we've got plenty of thoughts, but what he says is valid for all of us.
I point at Moon and nod.
As I thought. So you seek a way to free a guardian. Free it from what?
The guardian said it's indentured to Azrael. Not Azrael.
Zariel.
I'm sorry. Zariel.
He's indentured to Gargamel.
Damn Smurfs. That the guardian said that they made a promise that they can't break to Zariel, and if they can break it, that you would know how to do that.
So you seek a way to break an oath without breaking an oath. Difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. I will need to know more. What exactly is this guardian? What kind of creature?
It's a djinn.
A Dao, right?
Yeah. So Dao are very much like genies.
Okay.
I was trying to be as specific as possible.
So you seek to break an elemental from its oath. Even more difficult. I have to admit, you've got me. My interest is piqued. Tell me more. You say it's guarding a demon zapper? Is there a more eloquent way to explain exactly what the fuck that is?
Well, it zaps demons. So if you got a better term for it.
So as you're explaining what it is, all of a sudden she turns her head and she stares right at Alatar. As she does, in the back of your mind, Alatar, you start to hear the shield is talking to you, but it's talking as if from a great distance. It sounds like its voice is a mile away. And it's just kind of mumbling to itself, and what you hear is, I don't like it. I don't even know why. Just something about her makes me itch. And as she looks at you, and you hear that in your head, she goes, tsk, 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 tsk. Enough of that will have no outside help. And all of a sudden, the shield is dead quiet.
I eyeball her real hard.
And what was that all about?
She seems to be quarantining us.
And why would you say something like that, witch?
Let's just say, if we're going to have this kind of conversation and come to an agreement, it should just be between the six of us. No outside forces. That shield is only ever up to its own good, and it has no place here. And as she says that, you notice, when she says the six of us, you look, There's no Snuffle. There's no Lulu.
You almost said Snuffleupagus.
Yep. Snuffleupagus.
Snuffle.
Yeah, Snufflechops and Lulu are not here. And they were with you.
Where are they?
They were with you outside, but
So what is your goal?
what every devil's goal is, dearie. It's to make contracts, to make deals, and get what I want. What's your goal? Are you here out of some form of altruism in Avernus?
Well, as long as you're not talking to Moon, but yes, we are looking. We have our own goals. How are you going to help us meet our goals?
As you ask that, she reaches back, she grabs the teapot, and it's as she goes to grab it, you realize that slowly but surely there has been kind of this increasing ticking sound, like a water clock ticking off seconds that had gotten louder and louder, even though you hadn't noticed when it began. The moment she touches the teapot, it stops. And she lifts it up, says, I think it's just about ready. We should have a cup. And she begins pouring it out, and it is just this vile-looking, black, kind of green-tinged liquid. She fumbles it, spilling it all over the teacups and the saucers, and she's kind of just randomly handing out one to each of you. As you look at it, you would swear like there's a tuft of hair in Alatar's. As Olin looks at his in front of him, there's a fingernail floating in it. It's just absolutely disgusting smelling, looking, and it continues to bubble in your cups as if it's boiling in some way, shape, or form. And as she hands it around, you're all looking at yours. As you look back, she is just downing hers like it's the best thing in the world. Almost you see this almost as if it's like an addiction for her. You see this long, skinny tongue coming out between her crooked, rotting teeth, licking away at the teacups. And she puts hers down, but when she puts it down, she turns it over so that the opening points down. And she looks back at each of you and she says, well, divination witches don't want other people divining us. Can't be giving any of you my tea leaves, can I? So you ask what I want? You've named your own plainly, so I will do the same. I have a problem here in my Bone Bramble forest. Did you like it, by the way? Wasn't it lovely as you came through?
Beautiful.
I had it imported directly from the Feywild. I had a few devils here that owed me some favors, and I decided, well, a gal wants what she wants, and I craved a little bit of my old home. So they pulled some of the Feywild in here, and I've been decorating it ever since. Did you see the entrails? Quite fresh.
Yes, quite lovely.
Did you hire California Closets to do this? Because it is organized so nicely.
So as much as I love my forest, and I see you've met some of my guards on your way in here, the fallen spirits that I warped to my needs to protect my center of power, it is sad, but I must admit, I am being challenged. There is an upstart treant trying to push me out of my place of power. He wishes to take the Bone Brambles from me, and I won't have it. If you wish for me to divine a way for you to save your Tao and your unicorn, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you in blood. I want this treant dead. Kill him. Do with him as you will, and I'll give you your divination. I'll tell you how to free the Tao and send you back to your precious unicorn.
Where would we find this tree ant?
So she, literally, as Severius asks that question, you feel a rumble in the ground and just this, that kind of shakes. There's dust coming down from the cavern above. The candle lights flicker, and Red Ruth smiles. And when she smiles, it's almost as if her mouth wraps up and around behind her ears. She's like, "Oh, I've made sure that he came here. That's probably him now." And as you turn back, you realize that the light that leads back to the door, as you turn, you can see it slowly growing larger. She says, "So what do you say? I'll give you a divination, you kill a tree ant, we become best friends and then go our separate ways. What'll it be?"
Seems like you're not giving us a bit of a choice if it's already here.
If you wish to
Maybe we
leave,
can do it.
if you wish to leave, feel free. You've just got to get past him to do it.
It's a deal
Do a
had.
side chat. Wait, what?
Unless anyone has a better idea at the moment.
I mean, it seems like we gotta fight it anyway. Might as well get something out of it.
I mean, we could have a side chat before we make a
Yeah.
decision with two people speaking.
If you-
I'm just, you know.
If she says if you must talk it over, all of a sudden it's like she gets sucked back 50 feet. You blink and suddenly she's at the far end of what the cavern would be, as you still sit there on these thick kind of molding carpets on the pillows that you were on. And you hear her voice echoing from a distance. "Just make it quick. I don't think he'll be waiting." So you guys can have a discussion if you like.
Let's huddle up, everyone.
Hey man, there's no reason why we should be helping this chick out. Why don't we, do the whole like, "Oh, I'm gonna fake stabby you, dude," and then maybe you be on our side and see what the chick is about. Maybe we strong arm her instead of killing some peeps that we don't even know because some crazy eyebrowed tombstone worm thing tells us to do it.
Unless this is an evil tree ant, I'm not fond of the idea of killing a tree ant.
As Olin says that, all of a sudden, Red Ruth is like right behind you with like that crazy smile over your shoulder. "Oh dearie, it's an undead tree ant. Did I not mention that? Sorry, didn't mean to butt in." And then she's gone again. Let's have everybody roll an insight. Okay. So, Alatar, Olin, and Audrey, you all recognize, either through your bardic magics or all of the study that you have done in terms of being a cleric and a follower of Moradin and pulling in his power and his might into your casting, or Alatar with either of your two classes that you pull your magic from, whether it be from your patron on your warlock side or whether it be your ancestry on your sorceress side, you all have enough of a touch with the forces of magic to recognize that you are currently situated dead center in the middle of Red Ruth's place of power. That as much as it may look like she's on the other side of this place, she can hear, sense everything that you're doing. And if there is any truth to her being a true divination witch, if she really does have the powers to divine the future, that she is aware of of kind of how this group would respond to this kind of request. The insight is telling you that you were sitting in her place of power, and she has assumed that you will kill this undead tree ant, which solves her problem for her, and then she can give you a divination. You also all know, before you came here, one of the things that Ralzala told you about her is that people come here and pay her for her divinations. Like, this is her business. She sells potions, she sells divinations. If you can find your way to the center of her maze, she enters into contracts with people who can find her. She is not stingy with those gifts, but she charges hefty fees. So she has offered you a divination if you get rid of this undead tree ant that is trying to push her from her place of power.
Well, if it's truly undead, then it's an abomination that needs to be eliminated.
I wonder why it wants this place of power.
Let's make sure it benefits us if we're going to destroy it, though.
As Severius says that, Red Ruth is kind of right back around the outside of the group, kind of standing between him and Alatar, kind of looking back and forth, the two of them. She's like, "Oh, do you want to barter? Are we about to dicker? What do you need out of that? Sounds like retail to me."
Shopping at Dickers. Let's go.
What's your counter offer? I want you to kill it for a divination. What are you seeking?
We need to figure out how to free the Tao from her binding task.
So she can, as she has said, she can certainly give you a divination that's going to explain how you can break an oath that can't be broken. She has a means of doing that. That's what she's offered up already if you guys kill this undead tree ant. Do you have a
Yeah,
count?
dude, you're supposed to be asking for something else.
What do you want to ask for?
An easy way out of the brambles when we're done?
All right, so
That's always useful.
So it sounds like you guys are thinking about additional counter offers to her requests. So let's do this kind of round robin style. So what else would you guys want out of the situation? So we said we've got what's an easy way out of the Bone Brambles so you don't have to fight your way back through the warped forest. What else? Anybody else have any other ideas?
Maybe another place where we can find some gear and loot.
Or even safety for like resting and stuff.
That would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say clear and concise instructions on how to free the Guardian and Uni.
Our demands are free Uni, free the Guardian, find a safe place to rest, and maybe some locations with some sweet loot.
Like maybe the Bleeding Citadel.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to give too much away, but I guess that would be very handy.
But then we also don't want to ask for too much either.
Valid.
All right, so give me your short list, folks. What is it you're looking for? Make your counter offer to Red Ruth.
Sanctuary, safe conduct.
I concur.
And obviously, the way to free the Tau.
She looks at each of you, spits in her hand, and you can't tell if it's phlegm, if it's blood, if it's part of her lung, but she puts her hand out to shake with Severius. She's like, "You've got a deal. Get rid of Blackroot, my undead treant enemy, and I will give you sanctuary, sanctuary, safety, and how to free the Tau? Sanctuary, safe passage, and a way to free Ralzala."
I spit in my hand and offer to shake.
It's literally like it's like pudding wrapped around a popsicle stick. It's like it's soft. You expect it to wipe off on your hands, but it doesn't.
Perk of having full armor gauntlets on, I imagine there.
From outside, you can hear this increased pounding, slamming sound, and Red Ruth turns, and from behind her, even though you would swear it was in the opposite direction, as she turns, she points, and the cave entrance, the light of it, this kind of yellowish, it's a wan light. The Bone Brambles were not well lit. They were not a beautiful place, but after being here in this weird kind of shadowy darkness, the light from outside seems like a beacon. And it slowly, almost as if it kind of spins as if it was off its axis just a little bit, kind of coming back until it centers back on ground, getting larger and larger. She points, she's like, "Well, here's your chance. Prove yourselves. Get rid of him. I'll be in here. And then we'll conclude our contract." And again, just that crazy big smile with these tombstone teeth. And as she's smiling and waving bye-bye, like one of them falls out of the corner of her mouth into the green cauldron that she's standing next to. And it's almost as if like in a dreamscape, it's like she's slowly pulling back away from you guys. And as you turn, you realize you're getting closer to the door, even though you haven't moved your feet yet.
Take a step outside.
Grab my weapons.
Okay. So as you begin to step outside,
I was going to do motivational speech real quick.
okay. So that gives everybody's at 5 temporary hit points. All right. So if everybody wants to give themselves 5 temp, or if you weren't at max, or if you're at max, give yourself temporary hit points. Yeah, actually, just do them as temp. It's easier that way. It'll still subtract them correctly. I'll add 5. There's 5 for Alatar.
I took care of Moon already.
Cool. There's 5 for Audrey. There's 5 for Olin.
I just realized Olin's pretty hurt. Oops.
And there's 5 for Severius. You guys gotten some. Was Olin that hurt at the end of the last one? Did you get hit by the shambling mounds a couple times, or the dryads a couple times?
Yeah, by the mounds, I think.
Yeah, at the very end, I think, because you had the whatchamacallit, the Spirit Guardians up. All right, so that should give everybody the temporary. Dang it, did I do that correctly? No, I changed your fucking max. I hit the wrong thing. Get here. 5 on Olin. 5 on Severius. There's our 5 on Alatar. You think I'd write a macro for this, but why not? There we go.
And
okay.
Before we step out, Olin is going to cast Aid.
Okay.
Let me see here. I guess you can target yourself as one of the 3 creatures, right?
I believe so. I'm just taking a look at you. Spell bolsters your allies' toughness and resolve. Choose 3 creatures within range. Each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increases by 5. Let me just look at something here real quick. I'm pretty sure you can. Almost any time you have a spell like that, you can target yourself.
Because obviously, if we improve the front line health, hopefully the back line can just kind of safely sit back and ping away.
So it's going to be, it's 5 max and 5 current hit points. So who are the 3 that you want to target?
Severius, Olin, and Moon.
All right, so I'm going to add 5 to your max. And then 5 to your current total. Let me get Severius as well. He's got +5 to his max.
I'll grab mine.
Severius is at 73. It's going to be 78. Severius is already way over his, which is good. And did you add the 5 back to your current total?
I did for me.
Cool. All right.
Am I able to cast Cure Wounds on Olin?
Sure.
Well,
I'm giving you guys all like a quick 2-minute breather here before you step out.
I don't know if do we want to save spells? Because I was actually going to give him a potion if that worked too. Whatever you prefer.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you guys
We can save
discuss it.
spells that way.
That works.
So Olin, I hand you like a vial of healing potion.
Thank you, Moon.
So that would give you an additional 10 if you want to drink it right now.
Let's hold off. I can drink it in a pinch.
I'm still going to give him Cure Wounds then.
That's fair. I figured save spell slots.
Nah, screw that.
So, Moon, I'm going to put you to... You had 5 potions of healing. I'm going to put you at 4.
Already did. Oh, it went back to 5. That's weird.
Let me do that.
Oh, I forgot to unlock it. That's why I didn't do anything.
No, yeah, it's all right. There we go.
Thank you, Alatar.
Go.
Good health.
And I'm going to drop
You gotta
one
fight for
here.
Moradin if you're face down in the mud.
And I just dropped a potion of healing on you, Olin, so you've got that. And again, with our home rules that we run, we let you use the maximum. So I know it says like 2d4 plus 2, but it would just be a total of 10 hit points. All right, so we've got Olin back up to 56.
Let's bump him to 66. I'll use 10 of my lay on hands.
That leaves
But
you.
I want to.
That's going to leave you with 10 left because you had used some of them last time.
Yeah.
10 of your 40 are left, and that'll put Olin. No, it's going to put Olin at 66 of 75. Anything else before we go out the door?
Thank you, everyone.
I'm going to have a flask of water in my hand, just for the record.
Okay,
She did say undead tree, right?
correct.
Was that a really big mosquito? Did you guys hear that?
Cool. Everybody ready? Anything else we want to do before we go out the door?
I want to be sneaky.
All right, let's go ahead and roll a stealth check.
I want to be precise.
All right, so we got a 21 as Moon is going out the door. I am going to jump over here and just kind of see where I've got everybody sitting. Are we having Moon kind of go out the door first, stealthy, to see what he sees?
I mean, that was not my plan for the record, but I can if you guys really want me to.
But you're so sneaky.
Oh, you're doing such a good job. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the Hell Wasps proved that without a doubt. But yeah, I can. Quick question: will the helm work in this extra dimensional, what I'm calling it, space? Of my telepathy?
You don't know. You don't know.
I'm gonna try to use it on Alatar. Just like, can you hear me? Telepathically.
So right now, you can't.
You can. Okay.
Yep.
So whether or not it happens when I'm outside, there's completely different.
There is that question.
Awesome. I'm gonna ask, since Red Ruth, her moving away is all just an illusion, basically. Will this work if I'm outside and they're inside?
As you ask, all of a sudden she's like standing directly in front of you, between you and the door, and you see she kind of like flicks the crown, the helm a little bit. You can hear a ting as she touches it. And she looks back and she's like, oh no, not at all. Inside, outside, two completely different things. And then she's gone again.
Glad I asked. So, I mean, I'll go out, see what I see, and then if you hear screaming, please come save me.
Just use your kitty whiskers. Just, poke your nose out and be like, twitch, twitch. Is there anything out here?
Twitch, twitch. Is there anything?
I'm not gonna lie, I did look earlier if I had the scent capability being a cat, and I don't.
Like your Peter Tingle.
Those little giant hairs off your face.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I'm down. So I sneakily poked my way outside.
All right, so let me see. I'm gonna do. Oh, that's why I can't click on it. Let me do that. Can remove and activate. So this is gonna pull folks over, but you may not be able to see anything because I think I've got only Moon on the board thus far.
That's all I see, and I still see nothing. At least I see map, but no creatures.
Yep. So as you step out, Moon, you realize there is like a swirling portal directly behind you that you came out of. You were not at the cave entrance that you had entered into Red Ruth's lair before. This doorway, as it leads out, you see that there are kind of two large, semi-broken statues. The artwork looking almost elven, but something's different. You can see that there is an arch ahead of you. There is some kind of flame lighting the area off of both of the two statues. As you come out, you don't see anything right around. Your immediate area is kind of open, and then you can see that through the arch it leads back into the Bone Brambles.
Okay.
Or
do
no,
I
well,
hear? Oh, go ahead.
What looks like another part of the Bone Brambles that, it all kind of looks the same, but you have not seen the statues or that kind of thing before.
Okay. Do I hear anything?
You can feel the ground rumbling, and there is certainly, you can hear something heavy moving through the trees and the growth, probably, let's say 60 feet away. You can hear
Which
things
direction?
directly in front of you, like right to the east.
Okay, then I'm running off to the side.
Do you want to go back and tell anybody else to come through?
Not yet, because I'm feeling the tabaxi curiosity right now.
Excellent. Yeah, so as you kind of look around a little bit, as you move up,
Oh, that was a bad idea.
you hear a loud rumbling sound moving quickly through the trees toward the arch. And as you're standing there, all of a sudden a giant cracked boulder comes flying through the air, slamming into the statuary near you. I am going to need you to roll a dexterity check for me.
Save or mod?
Save, please. So that's going to be good to get you out of the way, because it wasn't directly throwing it at you. So as you are standing there, like, the boulder cracks into this, and part of the statuary gets kind of just blown away as this, I mean, it's a boulder twice your size that came flying through the air.
And it came from towards the center-ish area.
Yep, from this direction over. Like
Okay.
over here.
My curiosity's peaked. I'm done. I'm going back.
All right, so as you go back, if you go through the portal, what are you going to tell everybody?
That it is more or less straight ahead, a distance, not sure how far yet, I haven't seen it, but it's got big rocks that it's throwing and just destroying everything. Give it, I don't know, anywhere between, hang on. Oh, that's not how I wanted to do that, but it works. Anywhere from probably 70 to 150 feet is where I'm putting it right now, roughly. Again, giant boulders being thrown though.
Do you guys want to step through the portal? What do you want to do?
Step through.
Lead the way.
Let's go.
I want to continue being sneaky as I go back through though. I don't know if you want me to re-roll it.
So as you each come through the portal, you realize the same thing that Moon did when he first stepped through. This is not the entrance where you had initially come through into the cavern. You have come out into a different clearing that it looks kind of like the center of the Bone Brambles again. It's kind of a wide open space right around you, and you can see ahead of you there are two large statues that go up about 35, 40 feet. They're absolutely massive. They look kind of elven, but not quite. There's something off about them. You can see there is an arch of stone that crosses between them that's about 20 feet up that you could walk under. Both statues have some kind of brazier in their hands that is lit and burning. And off through the woods in that direction, you can hear something beginning to pick up speed as it is running towards you. What would you guys like to do? You've got about 15 seconds before things are going to start getting crazy.
I'm gonna move away from the massive fireball formation we're in right now. Still trying to be stealthy, just for the record, if you want me to re-roll or keep.
I'm going to step forward.
And do that. As you step through the portal, Audrey, you realize that your detect thoughts spell has been severed. So whatever it was that you had been clicking on, or excuse me, whatever you had been connecting to, I should say, has been disconnected. You don't have access to Red Ruth's thoughts anymore. And it's dark out here. You realize a bunch of time has passed since you went through the portal. So you've got the two flames that are burning, but if you wanted to put on your dancing lights again, we could certainly do so.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
So I see Severius has moved over a little bit. Alatar and Moon have moved a little bit. I'll let Olin and Audrey place themselves where they would like to. All right. So you guys hear this constant thudding sound as something is picking up speed coming through the trees. And with that, I'm gonna need everybody to go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Off to a good start so far.
Do we still have Ryan, or did he step away to check his ribs?
I'm here.
Oh, need you to roll an initiative for me when you can, bro. There we go. All right. So we are going to do that. So you hear this, you hear something through the trees ahead of you, coming quickly in this direction. What would Moon like to do?
So it's kind of hard to tell this arch here in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Is the side of it like covered to where I could like crouch down behind it?
Correct. So there's a pillar here and a pillar here, and then the arch goes over. You can kind of see the shadow underneath.
Yeah.
And
it was a little weird the way I was seeing it with the light.
Yeah. You can actually, like if you go under the arch, it'll actually be over your head. Your character will disappear under it.
Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to crouch down next to it. Yeah,
Okay.
again, maintaining that stealth so
Okay.
it doesn't know I'm here in hopes.
Okay. So you're gonna stealth in are you gonna use a hide action? Are you gonna ready in action? What would you like to do?
What's the hide action exactly? Just roll a stealth check, or?
Yeah. So it just basically it keeps you. Hide is just going to let you stay hidden. A lot of times it's used by rogues in combats that if you move behind something, you can kind of regain stealth to get another surprise attack or a sneak attack.
You know what? I am, just for now, to see what everybody else does.
Okay, so let me have you go ahead and roll another stealth check as you take that active hide. All right, so that's a 14.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
Well, so keep in mind that's going to be against its passive perception, which you don't really you don't know exactly what that is yet.
Yeah,
But
it's still 3 to me.
So what that will give you is if on your next turn, if you are still hidden and you decide to make an attack against him, you'll automatically get advantage on that attack.
Okay, that's handy.
Yep. Okay, that's going to bring us to Alatar. So again, you hear something moving quickly through the trees, heading towards that arch.
And can I tell which direction it's coming from?
You certainly can, sir. It's coming from that away.
Okay. And this is the arch.
Correct.
And I can see through it.
Yeah, if you come down, you can see through. You should be able to see stuff on the other side. Yep, you're looking through it now. You can see that there are some more like warp trees and flesh of the bone brambles ahead of you.
I don't see nothing. I'm gonna hold my action.
So so if you're gonna ready in action, what needs to happen for it to go off?
Me to see the tree ant.
Okay. So the moment you see the moment you see the tree ant, you want to cast what? I'm guessing Eldritch Blast, but I want to make sure.
I want to cast Hold My Poop in My Pants. Eldritch Blast, yes.
I cast Titan Sphincters.
All right. So we've got Alatar holding an action. That's going to bring us to Andre. So you see Moon has moved up here to kind of situate himself a little bit behind some of the stonework. You see Alatar has moved forward here. You see he's got coalescing magic kind of flitting along his fingers, up and down his wrists and forearms, back down to his hands. You can tell he's holding some magic ready to release as he looks through the arch. What would Audrey like to do?
I'm gonna hold and ready to jump when that thing comes flying through.
All right, so you're holding a dodge action. Got it. Sir Iron Will, what would Olin like to do?
How tall is this arch?
So the arch is about 20 feet above your head.
Awesome. Okay. Would I have like partial cover here?
I would say if you moved a little bit more this way or this way, just to kind of get a little bit behind that, kind of what Moon did to the north of you, kind of hiding behind these pillars here that are holding the arch up a little bit. Yep. That would give you, I would say, you've got about, depending upon where the enemy was, you'd have between half and 3/4 cover there.
Okay. That's about all I can do for now.
Cool. That's going to bring us to Severius.
Can I go under this green thing?
Yeah.
This is an arch?
Yep.
Yeah. I'll just go right through.
So you may have to take one step to the south there to be able to get through it, but you should be able to go through. So you guys see Severius begin to move through the arch. Severius, as you get to about that point, you hear kind of crashing through the woods this giant figure, which I think you should be able to see from where you're at now. Can you see that guy?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of in between the trees, moving quickly but ponderously. As you look up, the boughs of the trees are creaking in the wind and the rain around you. You hear the shriek of wood cracking and splintering as this forest giant, kind of twists and turns through the bone brambles. You see the trees are shedding leaves and moss and some of the warped flesh falling to the ground as it passes through it kind of in its wake. The ground is shaking and quaking. You see roots ripping up out of the ground, and this massive trunk of this undead tree ant appears between some of the bone brambles in front of you. Squealing branches bend without breaking, and you realize the tree is an animate thing. Two hollows in the trunk glare with an evil greenish tint from under a furrowed brow of twisted bark, and it immediately just bellows into the air and charges. So that was your movement action, but you technically still have an action and a bonus action if you'd like to take it.
Sure. I like to cast protection from good and evil.
Okay.
On myself.
All right. And which type of creature are you casting it for?
Do I have to define that? I think it's just...
It gives you... Oh, no, actually, it looks like it does give you, it gives you multiples. Aberrations, Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiends, and Undead. Gotcha. Okay. So that's going to give you... So it's going to have disadvantage on attacks against you. And you can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed. Got it. Okay. So that was, just as a note, that was your last first level spell. You are now at 0-4 spell slots there.
Okay.
And that is... I want to check. Is that an action or a bonus action? That's an action. So you have a bonus. You still have a bonus action if you'd like to take it.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Oh, didn't mean to pause it. Sorry. Why is it doing that? There we go. I'm just going to move him straight ahead like that. He is going to be targeting Severius. That's the first thing in front of him. As it gets closer, the smell of decay and rot fills the entire glade around you, even worse smelling than what you would become accustomed to here in the Bone Brambles. The sense of decay and the kind of sweet stench of rotting flesh joined with the swampy scent of rotting tree and leaf matter combined in some way seem to kind of come out in a wave in front of this giant undead treant as it moves forward. So it has to roll with disadvantage when it makes attacks because you are protected against undead. And 2. All right, so it's going to do its first, which is going to be a miss, and its second, which is also going to be a miss. So it takes 2 huge swings at Severius as Severius dances back and forth beneath the stone arch. But both of the hands kind of coming down, slamming heavily into the ground, shaking things around you. Alatar, you can kind of feel like you're dancing on your tiptoes as it swings. But where it is now, it actually has come into view for Alatar. You have that ready to action with your Eldritch Blast. So if you want to fire that off, even though it's not your turn, that is your ready to action. So we can certainly do that.
Okie dokie, Smokey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Oh yeah!
So the that first Eldritch Blast is going to be a miss, but the second one is going to hit. You see it sting into the treant as it is swinging at Severius, but it is as if it's as if it just shrugs it off. It's almost as if it doesn't feel it at all. That is going to bring us to that's going to bring us to Moon.
All right. How tall is this wall that I'm huddled behind right now?
So the wall kind of it kind of steps up to that 20-foot arch. So at its base, it's about 5 feet tall. But then it's like it goes up 5 feet, and there's another part of the arch, and then another 5 feet. So it's got a couple of crenellations as it goes up to the very top.
Okay. So I'm guessing where I am, it's more that 5 foot mark.
Correct. And you had said you were kind of hiding down behind it, so it still has not
crouched down.
Yep, it still has not seen you. So technically, you are still hidden. You are still stealth.
So what I'd like to do is, considering the fact that I'm 6'5", I kind of want to just jump up on top of it.
Okay.
And throw that vial of holy water I have in my hand.
Okay. So I'm going to have you do an acrobatics check for me. And considering that it's just a 5-foot jump, we're going to say a DC of 10, so you were more. Yep, you've got that. So you have moved up.
I do a backflip.
So you kind of jump up on top of the wall. You can now see it. Now I need you to make a ranged attack.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do this exactly.
We did this before. One other time, I think, when you threw it. I'm trying to remember how we decided to...
Well, I haven't ever thrown it, actually. I was going to pour it on a Devil's Ride or something like that before, and I got told not to.
I thought you had thrown it. Maybe not. I'm just trying to remember what the formula is here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out, too. I have my short bow, but that's going to do auto damage if I hit with it.
Just check something real quick. Let me, just for quickness sake, if you look at your character sheet, you're going to see that you have a dagger now called Bottle. Target the treant and use that to roll. I've set it to be a ranged attack, a ranged weapon attack. We won't
So it's
worry.
going to do different damage, but
Yep,
yeah.
I'm gonna undo the damage just so it puts that 9 back. And let me just turn your bottle back into a dagger.
And then I'll just roll 2d6.
Let me go. Melee. There you go. Okay, so your dagger's returned. Yep, go ahead and roll 2d6.
I want to use the dagger's damage instead.
So as you throw the holy water, the glass shatters against the hardened bark of the undead treant. The holy water splashing out all over its right side as it is slamming its fist down into the spongy moss-covered ground near Severius's feet. You see the water kind of soaks into it. There's a little bit of like a blackish smoke that kind of comes off of it. But in the heavy rain that is coming down, it kind of slowly washes off. So it does a little bit of damage, but not what you would have hoped using holy water against an undead creature.
Yep. And I should have done that with advantage, but I guess it doesn't matter. So
Yeah, as long as it hits, you're good to go. But that would have been your attack with advantage, yeah.
pretty much. And then, can I keep moving, or am I done?
No, you can. So you basically just jumped up 5 feet in the air. So you still have, what is it, 30? You get how much movement? 30 feet. So you've got 25 feet left.
I'm not gonna need it. I'm gonna do this. Oh, okay. I can't move the wall. Move it back. And I'll be like, yeah, it's right there.
Do you want to? Are you gonna do any bonus actions or additional movement? Or are you just gonna kind of hang right there?
I'm thinking. I am going to hang right there because the only bonus action I have is a dagger, and I can't really do that.
Okay. That's gonna bring us to Alatar.
All right, the treant's still trying to attack Severius.
Sure is.
All right, I'll give it another go.
There are a few of you that may notice you have little shamrock icons on your characters. It's because I gave you inspiration for what you remembered during our recap. So there are a few of you that do have inspiration.
See if you need it.
The first Eldritch Blast is a hit. Goes slicing around Severius in front of you. The second, unfortunately, flying wide as the ground shakes beneath your feet from the heavy pummeling of the treant's hands against the arch and the ground around him. You can do some more movement if you want.
I'm just scooching a little closer to Olin.
Alrighty.
Makes me feel comfortable.
Little scooch. That's going to bring us to Audrey. So directly, let's say 45 feet directly in front of Audrey. The treant is currently doing its dance with Severius. What would our bard like to do? Fires hard with her crossbow. Severius, you feel the whistle of a heavy bolt within inches of your head, but it slams sticking into the bark at head level, so about 5.5, 6 feet up one of the legs of this giant undead treant. You see now there is a heavy crossbow bolt sticking out, kind of just kind of thrumming in the air. Anything else from Audrey? Any movement or bonus action?
No, I'm good, thank you.
It's going to bring us to Olin.
Okay. For clarification purposes, the arch is about 20 feet tall.
Correct.
And how many feet wide? Is that 10?
So it's about 10 feet wide north and south, and about 5 to 10 feet wide east-west.
Okay. How big is this treant?
The treant tops out over 30 feet.
Okay, so it's not going to try to go under the arch.
Correct.
Just freely moving.
It would have to bend over and kind of crawl through
Okay.
if it was trying to push its way, through Severius.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide what the best use of spell slot is. Because my idea is to cast Guardian of Faith. But I don't know technically how it works. It says that any creature hostile to you that moves to a space within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn. So, I mean, I would assume that anything hostile to me, even if it starts its turn within 10 feet of the Guardian, it would take the damage, right?
I believe so. I'm just taking a quick look at the spell here. Guardian of Faith, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's Guardian for the first time on a turn. Yeah, so it sounds like as long as it's within 10 feet of the Guardian for the first time on a turn. It's that first time that's weird.
Right, yeah, but on a turn, so like any turn.
Yep, no, so that's just like Spirit Guardians. I just took a quick look at the wording. So as long as, so you get to choose, what is it, within 30 feet of you, you get to place the Guardian of Faith where you want it, and then on the start of the enemy's turn, if it's within 10 feet, it takes radiant damage or half as much on a failed save. So what I would say is, if you wanted to cast that, we'll just use your spirit weapon token that I've got for you. You can tell me kind of where you want it, and then when it's the beginning of the turn, I'll have you roll that for damage and see if it gives us the ability to do the saving throw, because we've never used that spell before.
Right, and that's what I thought it'd be, especially since it's doing radiant damage against a undead. It might be handy.
Yeah. Can you ping the map where you wanna put it? Anywhere within 30 feet of you.
Well, I was trying to look. It says it's a large spectral guardian. Does that matter at all? Like, how many squares is this thing going to take up?
That's an excellent question. So it's an unoccupied space. So I don't think it's it's not like a large creature.
Okay. Because it says it just hovers. It hovers for the duration, so it's not like it really even takes up the space. I don't know. I don't know exactly how this works.
Yep, I'm just doing a quick check here. I'm looking at just because we haven't used it before, and I want to make sure we get it right. So it is saying here that because it does state large, that indicates creature size, so it will take up a 10-foot by 10-foot space. So
that it would be like the 4 squares then immediately south of that.
Yep. So if you were to place it, like ping the square where you'd want it. All right, so yeah, if you went dead center there, I don't want to use that. That's a circle. Grab a square. It would take up
those 4.
Yep. And then it would be 10 feet around that. So
yeah,
its effective range would be that.
Yeah. So and it only does the damage to hostile creatures that are hostile to me, apparently.
Yep.
So yeah.
I'm just trying to see what I can do here. What if we do... that so we can kind of see its range. What if I take this guy and we do this just for shits and giggles? Put Owen's spiritual weapon in the middle of it, and we'll leave the templates on the map so we can kind of see what it's touching. Does that work for you?
Yep.
Cool. So what's it look like? So this is the very first time we've cast this spell, so it looks like Guardian of Faith has just a verbal component. So what does it look like as Olin steps forward and casts this for the very first time?
Yeah, he's muttering in Dwarvish, and it's almost like a translucent, golden glowing. It almost looks like just an animated suit of golden dwarven armor with a shield and a big battle axe.
I'm curious. I speak Dwarvish. What do I hear?
I don't know.
That's a great spell. I like it. Perfect.
He just shouts, again, I don't know what the words would be to cast this particular spell, but yeah.
I saw the chance. I couldn't pass it up. Had to ask.
All right. So we've got...
I'm unprepared.
So Olin casts it. We see so directly beside Severius, we see this kind of suit of dwarven armor emblazoned with the symbols of Moradin appears, lighting up the glade. I actually want to do a lighting effect around it too. What the hell?
Corey does not speak Dwarvish. Only Olin does.
I was hoping you were going to translate something for me.
I'm going to do that so we can also see it's kind of glowing with the radiant light of Moradin there on the other side. Okay. Anything else that Olin would like to do on this turn?
In that case, I'm going to see here. Is there space in between the arch and the southern statue?
Yeah. So
can I walk right through there?
So if you move up to like this square, you would be able to go through side by side. So Severius is right here. There's spaces going through on this side if you wanted to go through. And that would put you direct. So that right now you are directly side by side with Olin, with Severius, excuse me. And that puts you within. So you are now within range of the tree ant. Both on your attack, you could hit him, and on his attack, he could try to go for you.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Okay, cool. That's going to bring us to Severius.
All right. I say, miss me, Treant.
It just bellows.
Take mine. Undead Treant.
Your car, it talks. Chase me.
I'm gonna cast Branding Smite. It's as a bonus action. It's one of my innate spell casting.
Which smite?
Here, I'll put it in the chat. It's one of my class, I think, race features.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just a different kind of smite.
Yep.
I still have to connect. And I'm gonna draw back my skull flail and attack.
Good rolls.
Just checking to see. So that is absolutely gonna be a hit, and we're gonna want to add in the branding smite. On the right hand side, do you have the option to click on damage fast? Does that show up in the chat card for you for branding smite?
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's click on that and see what happens.
Did it show up?
Yeah,
It gave me a...
yep.
Okay.
I see the -8. Yep.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what resource these are pulling from. I'm just trying to look at your D&D Beyond character sheet here real quick. So on the character sheet here it says, now that you've cast it, it says 0 of 1, and it said the same thing now for your Searing Smite. So I'm trying to figure out what shared resource they're both pulling from.
Yeah, I used that Searing Smite last game.
Let's see here.
I believe they're racial.
Why do you always have to bring race into it?
Yeah, so that comes from your Legacy of Avernus. One bonus action, self-concentration. Yep, you can use that. So you get your Searing Smite is from your Legacy of Avernus. You get that once per long rest. That's why that one's expanded. And then Branding Smite is also Legacy of Avernus. And that is also once per long rest. So, okay, that's why they both say 1 or 0 of 1 now. Got it. Cool. We're using all kinds of stuff we haven't used before. I love it. So you guys have... So as Olin steps up next to you, Severius, you see the tree ant kind of turns. There is this giant glowing suit of dwarven armor that has appeared. Its light radiating around you, illuminating this giant 35-foot undead tree ant very clearly. You can see the worms actually infesting some of its rotten bark and decaying forest flesh as it is swinging at you angrily, bellowing in the air. You're able to step forward with your skull flail and slam it into the side. You see that it does, it tears into it doing damage, but not doing as much as you would have thought. It's as if the necrotic damage itself has no impact. Where you normally see that green glowing skull head of Merkel, when it hits your opponents, you see that the green kind of leaches into their skin, kind of giving like dark greenish veins for a second. When it hits the tree ant, that doesn't happen. So the weapon head tears into it, the cruel spikes piercing into its flesh, just the heavy impact of it doing damage, but you're not seeing anything from that necrotic that you would normally see. But having backed that up with your Branding Smite, what does that look like? We haven't seen it before, so give us a description. What does a Branding Smite look like?
The Branding Smite is radiant damage, and as I strike, it seeps into the wood flesh of the tree ant and almost sears a bright yellow-white streaks through the wood as the radiant damage takes hold and sears into the flesh of the tree ant.
Not what I wanted.
Looks cool.
Why does it do it on top? Eek. Let's just do none. I'm trying to put that so as you hit it, part of the Branding Smite actually applies a light effect to the target that surrounds it, kind of emanating off of its skin in a 5-foot radius. So you see this thing kind of glowing in front of you, slowly with that radiant energy from your Branding Smite. So that's one swing and a hit, but that is not all that Severius gets to do.
I'll draw back and swing again.
The second, unfortunately, is going to be a miss. So as the creature is twisting and writhing in pain from the burning radiance of your Branding Smite, the ground shakes beneath your feet and Severius is thrown temporarily off balance. Anything else? Any movement or bonus action? Well, the Branding Smite would have been bonus. Yep. All right, that's gonna, or any movement. You want to try to back out of the way? You stay up front.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I gotta get to my ribs. I'll be right back.
Gotcha. Okay. So, in pain and anger,
It dies.
nope. So this is where things are going to get interesting. So I gotta make sure I'm not targeting anything as I do this. I want to see if it'll let me. No. Alright, I am gonna do something a little weird here. I'm actually gonna duplicate this monster just for the purpose of being able to roll something, because it requires that I have a target, and I don't want to target you guys as he does this. So just ignore the additional undead treant in the background. So he is going to... That is good. ACU is correct. So he is going to take a swing at the arch over your heads. That is a hit. He does another one. That is a hit. So we see... Let's see, that's 20... Is that 33 points?
Yup.
Excellent. And he is a siege monster who does twice the amount of damage when he is attacking things. So he is going to actually do 66 total points of damage to the arch over Olin and Severius's head. As he does so, the arch cracks and stone plummets down upon the two of you. I am going to need both Severius and Olin to roll a dexterity saving throw for me. Because
Real quick.
Yep.
I didn't catch. Did that thing take damage from my
Not
guardian?
yet. Not yet. He will be.
Okay.
So go ahead. Well, actually, let's have you do this. Go ahead and roll the damage.
All right.
If you get,
he's safe. Okay, you got to succeed on a dex saving throw.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you click on Guardian of Faith, but with him targeted, but when it asks to expend a spell slot, say no. Let's see if it actually rolls the damage and prompts me for the saving throw.
All right, 1 second.
Yep. Okay, so it doesn't do that. So let's see here. What's Guardian of Faith. And your spell DC is 16, so it's going to be a 16 dex saving. Let me do that. He is going to end up failing it, I'm sure. So he is going to end up taking the damage, so let's go ahead and roll.
There's no roll.
No rolls.
He
It's
just
automatic
takes
20.
20,
Yep.
20 radiant.
Go ahead and do that. And okay. That catches us up on the damage to it. Now we need to do the damage to the arch over your guys' heads. So that's going to be a dexterity saving throw. Okay. We're aiming for a 15 or above.
I'm not sure if he's back, but I think Ryan had stepped away.
Yep. It's all right. When he gets back, I'll have him.
Hey.
All right, so Olin's going to succeed. So that means you're going to take half of what's coming your way. And then we just got to get Severius. Ryan, are you back yet?
How much for one rib? I sure am hungry. Ooh. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. theme music.
I'm blanking. What movie is it from?
I'm gonna get you, sucker. That's what the thing I posted in the chat a little while ago. How much for one rib?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm blown
Yeah,
on the actual movie itself.
Young Chris Rock. And yeah, Isaac Hayes, Jim Brown.
I'm back.
I'm not sure. I've seen it.
I need you to do a dexterity saving throw for me, Ryan.
Okay.
DC of 15.
Uh-oh.
I believe in you.
Wah!
Okay. So you guys are
Let me
going to
see that
take you guys are going to take half of this. So you guys each take 9 points of damage. So let me do that. Minus 9.
You get to take half of a million.
Minus 9. And as you... Let me go here. And do that.
Half of you're dead.
So the Brian, what you had missed is this thing is it's glowing with all the radiant energy and all of that. In its anger, it lashed out at the arch over your head, doing a massive amount of damage to the stone, causing bits and pieces of it to crumble down atop you and Olin. Luckily, you were both dexterous enough to dodge part of the falling stone, though each of you takes some damage as it falls. That is going to be its turn, which is going to bring us back to Moon.
Question.
Yeah.
Can I move like around it to the back without incurring it attacking me, since I don't leave its space, or does that?
No, as long as you're not leaving a space
Okay.
adjacent to it, it doesn't provoke an opportunity attack.
Gotcha. Again, gotta not confuse my rules.
It's all good.
So I'm gonna try to jump back up again and then
Okay.
run around to the back of it.
Okay, so it's gonna be just a basic dex check. DC
Oh, I thought
10.
you wanted to do the acrobatics or the.
Oh yeah. Acrobatics is what I mean. Sorry. Passes that with ease. So that gets you up on top of the wall by 5 feet. And then if you
I
want
want
to
to like vault over it. It was my goal,
Perfect.
just for the record.
All right, so that's going to be, we'll consider that difficult terrain. That would have been 10 feet of total movement to get to that point.
It's paused again.
Oh, there you go.
Is there a wall there? I can't move through it.
Yep. So you're running into some of the bone brambles.
Oh. That completely ruins my plan there. All right. Hang on. Let me think. All right. I'll go around it, kicking that feline agility so I can boost my speed so I don't get caught up in it.
Moon runs through the undead tree ant's legs.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but yeah, I didn't expect there to be a wall there, so I would move around to there.
Okay.
Flank
Gotcha.
it, and then take a little stab.
Okay.
He does a figure eight like a cat sometimes, rubbing against the legs.
Do you want me to wait for the flanking or just attack with advantage?
Oh, I'm getting it set on here.
Okay.
I've actually changed it so that rather than having to put it on the creature and take it on and off, I'm just going to put it on you. And that should allow, hopefully, to roll with automatically with advantage.
Will it also give it to the other people, or have to
Nope,
put it on them manually also?
No, I'll put it on them manually when it's their turn.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. It did. Rolled with advantage. That is going to be a hit.
Boom.
Yep. Moon moves around, slicing behind. You see, kind of on the far side, his shadow in the radiant light emanating off of the tree ant. You see him stepping forward with his rose rapier of Lathander, and when his holy blade sinks into the tree ant, it roars its head back, screaming into the falling rain above it.
I'm gonna risk this.
Taking another 7 damage. So following up his vicious stab, Moon continues to rain blows into the rotting bark of the tree ant's flesh.
Now, please kill it before it gets to its turn.
That's going to be Alatar.
Alright, I can still see it even though the arch is damaged.
Correct, yes. The arch has fallen in. There's now just crumbled stone and blocks around Olin and Severius. You saw them kind of dodge out of the way, both of them using their shields and armor and weapons to deflect the rubble as it comes down around them. So moving through this space now will be considered difficult terrain because of the amount of fallen stone, but you can still see clearly through it and see that big glowing thing in the middle there that's been tagged with it's radiation, basically. This thing is it's got
20th Century Fox spotlight. All right, as long as I can still see it.
Yep, absolutely. That is going to be a hit. First Eldritch Blast comes slicing through the ether for 9 damage. Follows up with a crit. This might be it, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite. Close. Whoa. So close. So as you are pulling your rapier out of the back of the tree ant, Moon, all of a sudden you see twin beams of purplish cascading energy blast a 1-foot hole directly through one of the thick trunk-like legs of the tree ant, barely missing you as it comes blasting through. Rotten worms, decaying moss, rotten bark, that thick stench of like deep swamp and rot spraying over you as bits and pieces of it blow out the backside.
Curiosity question.
Yeah.
And again, I may just be mixing up my games, but didn't we have like a max damage crit rule, or was that just me?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, thought it doubled, didn't it?
Yeah.
It doubles, but I thought we had like a rule to where it was always like max doubled. But again, I could be mixing up my games.
Yeah, that may be. I'll have to take a look at the rule here. I know the system just got an update. I'm wondering if it changed. Oh, system settings.
I think he's right.
Critical damage, maximize dice. Maximizing values of base damage. Yeah, it should have, and it didn't.
I mean, it's only 4 additional damage, but hey, you said almost.
I wonder why it's not. Yeah, it's still set to maximize dice damage. Let me take a look here. Trying to figure out what it's adding here. So it rolled a 6.
It looks like it maximized the crit part of it, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's supposed to do it like in the opposite. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that, but it should be an additional 4 on that. There we go. It is still near death, but not quite down. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It must be something must be conflicting with either MIDI or with the system, the way it's figuring it out. But let me do this as well. I know you can set it inside of MIDI. But while I'm doing that, anything else from Alatar on this turn? You've taken 2 shots. You still have a bonus action or movement if you'd like to take it.
Good to go.
That is going to bring us to Audrey. That, unfortunately, is going to be a miss. Any bonus action or additional or movement you'll take?
Nope, I'm good.
Not sure why it's I just took a quick look at MIDI. It's pointing back to the system, so I'm not sure why it's unless I'm not reading what it says there correctly, but it should be maximizing that out. So that is going to bring us to Olin. Olin, as you are kind of dodging out of the way of some of the fallen stone that is around you, the tree ant is kind of writhing back and forth in pain directly in front of you. You can see it's got holes burned through it. It's still lit up with all this kind of radiant damage, taking a pounding from multiple fronts. What would Olin like to do?
I think I'm just going to swing away. Swing for the fences. And I got flanking on this.
You shooters. There you go.
And that's why I stayed.
So it's right alt.
You should just be able to click. I've got it. I just added flanking to you, so it should do it automatically for you now.
Dig it.
That is going to absolutely be a hit. And I just want to make sure. Yep, it did your bludgeoning plus that extra 1d8 thunder that you're going to get from that booming blade from now on. Plus your bonus, plus the +1 because it's a +1 weapon. Yep, good. It rolled correctly. That makes me happy.
Excellent.
So how do you want to do this, Olin? So as you swing forward with Heaven's Fall, you are going to pull the last little bit of life out of this tree ant. What does it look like?
Just screaming, die, you abomination. Hammer overhead, the holy taco comes in, and it's got slightly blue energy surrounding it and crackling, and basically Olin even jumps up as high as he can and just kind of rakes the holy taco down, basically catching it. I guess it would be its ribs area, and on down one leg, and just it kind of splits open and tumbles over.
Excellent. That is going to end combat, ladies and gentlemen. So at your feet is a giant mass of dead or undead, now twice dead, tree ant. It's rotting.
Re-dead.
Yeah, re-dead tree ant. At your feet, kind of falling back into separate parts here, strange kind of greenish ichor and what might be blood kind of mixing together into a puddle on the rain-covered mossy floor here of the Bone Brambles. With that, you have defeated Blackroot, who was coming to try to push Red Ruth out of her lair. This would be a good spot for us to take a quick 10-minute break so that we can use the bathroom, get more drinks and all that kind of fun stuff, and then come back and figure out what we might be able to do with Red Ruth here.
Okay.
Sound good? All right, let's do, it's 9:08. Let's all be back by, let's say, 9:20. We'll do 12 minutes.
Okie-dokie.
Unless you need more time, your adults take as much time as you need. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the clock back on here. So you guys have vanquished Blackroot. You still have the swirling portal back to Red Ruth behind Audrey here. If you guys want to go back through, what would you like to do?
Search the tree ant, see if there's anything interesting on it.
Excellent. Let's see here. Do I have anything? So I don't have anything specific on the tree ant in the notes. We already did the 2 magic items for that.
Sounds like it's a great time to make something up.
So I'm
27 soul coins.
yeah, I'm not seeing anything. There's nothing on the tree ant directly. It's just this kind of as you poke through it with your sword a little bit, it is just a. It clearly was a fallen tree ant, and normally they are reabsorbed by the forest. Motes of light kind of float up out of them. They feed the forest, and the forest brings them back home. They usually have very gentle and peaceful passings. Chances are this one fell here in the Bone Brambles after it had been transported from the Feywild, and Avernus itself, in some way, shape, or form, warped this thing. So when it died, it came back as an undead version of itself. You could tell while you're fighting it, it was literally just a creature, almost an unthinking creature of rage. Red Ruth said that she believed it was trying to push her out of her place of power. But the way that you saw it, fighting violently, really just kind of charging straight ahead, slamming into things, it didn't seem like it was really a thinking beast anymore. It was more of just an agent of rage. And it may have just been striking out at anything that it could find here in the Bone Brambles. But it doesn't have pockets or coins or weapons or anything like that on it. It's just a bunch of dead, rotting tree flesh at this point.
Yeah, I figured maybe it had grown over or something or some crazy thing like that. But my guess is it was here when she transported all this stuff here and she killed it. And then here it is.
A ragent?
Raging treant. Got it.
18. Just trying to see who here has like a high arcana or history. If anybody wants to roll as you kind of look around this clearing that you're standing in. You recognize this is not the same clearing again that you had originally come through as you had made your way through the Bone Brambles and into the cavern to meet with Red Ruth. This is definitely something different. Alatar doesn't even recognize that he's still in the Bone Brambles. But it's just, it's these, everything that you've seen thus far has been like warped forest, but for some reason there's this weird stone area that was this arch kind of leading toward the portal that Red Ruth had left open for you. And again, these statues they're massive, but they look kind of elven, but distorted in some way, like not quite. Yeah. What else would you guys like to do? You want to step back through the portal? You want to look around a bit? What's up? What do we want to do?
Search the corpse of the tree ant for anything.
Did that. Nothing.
Oh, nothing.
I think I'd like to take a look around. I'm curious about this place and see if I can learn anything more about it.
So as you look around some of the statues, you get this kind of just sense of other. Like it's these are not. Again, they're not elven. It's not dwarven make. It's very hard to place.
Would Olin recognize any of it with his religious background?
If you want to run, you know what? You can roll a religion check if you want.
Nope.
Yeah, you're not seeing any kind of specific religious runes or depictions of any known gods that you have come across in the past.
Back through the portal.
Cool. Anybody else want to do anything?
I'm out of ideas.
Search around. Anywhere else?
Portal.
So that'll take you back into the labyrinth if you keep going there, Severus.
Oh, back into the bramble?
Yep.
Okay.
You can see
I
that
guess-
the bone bramble gets thicker and thicker the farther away from these statues that you go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. If you guys are going to all move back up, I'll take us back into the cave with Red Ruth. As you come walking back through the portal, who's first in line? Who's last in line? Who's the last person?
The last in line.
The last
Not
person.
it.
I'll go first. I'm fine with that. If nobody else wants to.
Okay, so Moon, you come walking in first. Who's the last person in line?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. So as you come walking in, you get this weird sense of time changing a little bit. And as you step through the portal, there's almost as it closes behind you, and you feel kind of like a little bit of a burst of wind pushing you forward and away from where the portal was, as if it was kind of air had been leaking out of this space that Red Ruth calls home, and now it's kind of like when you dive down underwater and you can feel that pressure on your ears. You get a little bit of that for a second as that portal behind you closes. Ahead of you, in front of the fire again, you see Red Ruth waiting. She has a huge smile on her face again. She's got both hands up, waving you both forward. Both hands waving you forward, I should say. Telling you, come. Tell me, how well did it go? I can already tell. Things have stopped rumbling and shaking. It's about time. He's been such a pain. Is he dead? Has Blackroot been completely diminished?
Dead as a doornail.
It is done.
Excellent. It's always nice to have dealings with those who complete their parts of bargains immediately.
That.
Now I suppose you'd like me to do the same.
That.
That would be preferred. Yep.
Excellent. So she kind of spins in a circle, and as she does, those moldy, tattered carpets reappear beneath her skirts, spreading out. The pillows all kind of pop back up. She quickly just jumps back, flopping into the pillow, the black velvet with the tassels that she had been sitting in before, of dust and mold and spores kind of puffing out into the air around her as she plops down into it heavily. All of the bones and accoutrement on her belt clicking and clattering as she does. She reaches down, and that teacup that she had drunk from before that was sitting upside down, she picks it up and turns it over, and you see that she begins to read through the tea leaves that have stuck to the bottom of the glass. As she does so, that weird kind of echoing, whispering lament that kind of seemed to be at the far edge of your hearing when you had first come in the cavern earlier in the day returns, only this time it is much, much louder. As you kind of hear it picking up, kind of coming to a crescendo, you see that Red Ruth's eyes have rolled back and they are completely black now. She continues to stare down into the cup until there is a kind of a flash of black energy that puffs up out of the cup. Her eyes roll back, slowly, the blackness disappearing, and her red eyes coming back to focus, kind of glazily at first on the five of you, but then being able to focus in on the group. And she says, well, that was certainly harder than I thought it was going to be. But the good news is I do know how you can free your Tao friend and gain access to that. I hate even saying the word unicorn. Why you choose to befriend such, I'll never know, but if you wish to free your Tao, this friend of yours, to free her from her oath, she will have to find a way to have had an oath prior to the one she gave to Zariel, so that the oath to Zariel could not possibly be completed. Now, to do that, it'll have to be an oath of fealty of some kind to a creature just as strong as Zariel herself. Otherwise, what's the point, am I right? Lucky for you, I know exactly where you can find something that she can give that oath to. As she's speaking, she pulls out like a snuff box, and you see it's got some kind of moldy, spongy material in it. She takes little bits of it and kind of snorts it up her nose, and her eyes become clearer, even more so than they had been before. She tucks the box back into her shirt and turns to you, and she says, one of you has a map, yes? The crazy map, the one that talks to you? Bring it forth. Let's take a look.
I don't actually know who has that.
So she definitely knows that you guys have the Mad Cartographer's map. Whomever is carrying it at the moment, if you does the group want to show it to her, or do they not want to show it to her?
Yeah, we show it to her. I'll show it to her.
Okay. So as you do, she is pointing out, kind of going over it back and forth, laughing, as it's almost as if like some of the things on the map move a little bit as she drags her finger around it. It's a little disconcerting. And she's cackling and laughing as she does it. She says, I do so love to make them jump. So she points to a spot on the map a little bit further, kind of southeast from where you guys are, and she tells you, here, right here, is Uldrak's grave. At the beginning of Zariel's tenure as Archduke, there was a clearing house. An Empyrean named Uldrak tried to defy her. Unfortunately, with her newfound might and Asmodeus' help, he was struck on the plains of Avernus, his sword and helmet still there. But what few don't know is that his bones reside underneath it all. Get one of those bones and bring it to your Tao friend and have her swear an oath to serve Uldrak. It may be enough to override what she has with Zariel.
I'm confused. I thought you said it had to be a prior oath.
There's a glint in her eye and a big, big smile. And she reaches out and taps you right on your little feline nose. She's like, I knew you were the smart one. She starts reaching into her robes, pulling out different ingredients, and turns to the large infernal cauldron behind her, begins pushing different things into it, and it's changing colors, like this Technicolor dream coat of colors behind her, kind of cascading through the rainbow as she's adding different things. And it's almost as if there's two voices. There's like one voice that's chanting some type of magical ritual or verbal component of a spell as she's doing this, and the other voice is talking to you. She's saying, it's as simple as a brief time displacement potion. I give you this, you give it to the Tao. She goes back in time far enough to make an oath to Uldrak. She hones in using his bone. Voila! She has an oath to Uldrak, and her oath to Zariel is overwritten. All you need is one of those bones. And she continues, as she's saying that, the cauldron is bubbling over. As the fluid is hitting the ground and the skulls, they're dissolving. Whatever is in this thing is completely caustic. It is tearing into the stones and bits around it. But it finally centers in on this kind of purplish, pearlescent color that, as it turns and changes in the light, goes from like darkest black to like a very light purple. And she gets some of this in this little tiny stoppered bottle. It is like a quarter of the size of what you would normally have for, like, say, like a healing potion or a potion of enlargement or giant strength, those kind of things. It's little. Someone Severius' size could hide it in the palm of his hand. But it's this little tiny bottle, and she stops it up with a cork and wax, and she pulls the wax out of her own ear and smears it around the lip of the potion bottle as she slowly pulls some of the liquid out of the cauldron into the bottle, stoppering it up. And she kind of holds it in one hand, shaking it in front of you, and she says, "It's just that easy. Take a quick jaunt down to Uldrak's grave, grab a bone, bring both back to your Tao. She drinks the potion while holding the bone and thinking of Uldrak. She'll be whisked back to him just long enough to make an oath. You can then save your unicorn. Bob's your uncle.
Uni.
Isn't that a deal?"
I mean, that's part of our deal. There was more.
I don't always like the smart ones. You also wanted safety back through the Bone Brambles and Sanctuary. Well, good news is you didn't clarify where. So she hands you, each of you gets a small knuckle bone, and the knuckle bone itself has got a little carving in the end of it. And she tells you, carry these, and you'll never take a wrong turn through my brambles. Now, mind you, it's a one-way. Don't think you can come back and easily get back to the center. I'll have new guardians the next time. But this will get you out. No wrong turns, no lefts, no rights, just a straight shot out of my labyrinth. She's like, and as far as Sanctuary, from out of her robes on the other side, she pulls out, it's a small, thin, golden plate, a little bit larger than, say, like a business card. And she tosses it through the air at the group. I need everybody to roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
I cannot roll higher than a 3 on these.
11, 12, 4, 17.
Oof.
Just got Audrey left? Yeah. Let's see what Audrey gets here. And a 16. So, Olin, you have rolled highest. So as it comes, this thin metal card comes flipping through the air, you're able to reach out and grab it. And as you catch it and look at the front of it, it is a calling card. There is a name, Mahadi, engraved in it. And below that it says, Mahadi's Wandering Emporium. Purveyor of fine goods and incredible experiences. And she tells you, that will get you in the front door of the Wandering Emporium. Tell Mahadi that Red Ruth sent you, and that I will pay for a one-night stay. That's your sanctuary. Guaranteed to be an out-of-this-world experience. And then she cackles. But of course you've got to find it first.
And you just took the question I was about to ask. How?
she tells you that and you have heard of this before. Mad Maggie had mentioned it. You had heard about it from some of the Mad Caps and Red Caps and some of the other creatures that you had met at Fort Knucklebone. There is a traveling caravan that makes its way around to some of the major spots in Avernus called the Wandering Emporium. It is a series of, if you could imagine like a gypsy caravan, but instead of it being a horse and wagon, they're all infernal war machines of varying sizes carrying platforms with shops on top of them. And they will circle their wagons every single night, stopping somewhere in Avernus. And Mahadi's shop is very, very well known. You will have heard rumor of it. It is a almost palatial place to stay with all of the various incredible experiences that one could possibly purchase in hell. Regardless of what it is you're looking for, it is said that you can find it in the Wandering Emporium. So Red Ruth is telling you that if you can find it, you have a free full night stay. And as you kind of flip the card over and look at the back of it, Olin, you can see that it says that it can be turned in for up to, but not more than 200 soul coins worth of stay at Mahadi's Wandering Emporium. And you know from having a few soul coins and seeing how they are used in trade here, 200 soul coins would be a small fortune. So whatever kind of stay you could have there if you find it would certainly be paid for.
And there's no way to know where this emporium is or going to be or what path they take.
And she laughs. She says, well, I am a divination witch. Of course I can figure it out. What are you going to give me for it?
What would it cost us?
Well, let's see.
Would you take any currency?
Just checking here. What are her normal prices for her potions? So her normal divination, when she does her commune, costs 3 soul coins. She tells you that for 3 soul coins, I'm pretty sure I could tell you where to find Mahadi.
How many coins do we have left?
Believe you guys have. I can actually look here for you real quick. Bag holding. So you guys currently have. You have 7 soul coins and 1 demon soul coin left.
How many empty ones do we have?
You currently have 3 empty ones. Excuse me. You have 2 empty ones because you used 1 to make the demon coin. 2 left.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think last time we had said you had burned through 3 thus far, cruising around after the Hell Wasps and all that. You had used 1 to capture the Baldur.
I think we'll have to fill them up eventually. How does 2 soul coins sound, Red Ruth?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Sorry. Of course.
The hell just happened there?
I did it once and nothing happened, so...
Well, the first one was a 9, and then a 27 and a 14. So how about we just do this? Let's have you just roll it again. Let me delete these, so we just get one straight persuasion roll.
Clicking once, and we'll touch it again.
Can I help in any way?
As in...
Can I help this roll in any way?
Not at this point, because Severius was the one that kind of spoke up on his own.
Yeah.
Well, Severius gets a 19. So she looks at you briefly, and with a twinkle in her eye, she blows Severius a little kiss. She's like, oh, I guess 2 soul coins is enough. I mean, you did just kill Blackroot for me and all. She says she can tell you where it's going to be in 24 hours. Or she can tell you where it's going to be in 1 week. Which would you prefer to know? 1 day from right now, or 1 week from right now? And it's currently 11:30 p.m. at night.
Well,
And it could possibly take us fairly long to get to wherever it would be possibly be. So probably the week out would be better.
It's always difficult to know how far things are in Avernus and how long it's going to take you to get there, because there's really no kind of like space-time continuum. Things constantly move around here. Yeah.
I mean, but effectively, yeah, we could, if we need this place, it could be gone. We could not make it to where it's going to be in 24 hours. So that wouldn't do us a whole lot of good, I wouldn't think.
fine by me. Okay with that?
Okay. Anybody want to do 24 hours? Or are we all in agreement for a week?
I think week sounds good.
Okay. So she is going to, so the map, the crazy cartographer map is still out. She is going to put a marker on the map for you guys so that you will know where it's going to be. I am going to do this.
Oh, he was going to be here tomorrow.
It's right outside. Let me do that and then that. Just doing a quick change here for you guys.
Just to be clear, was that canon?
What? No, he was gonna be right outside. Or was what?
Yeah, tomorrow.
No.
Because that would just be super convenient, and I'll take it.
Okay, that's. Okay, so let me do that. Let me come back in here real quick. I'm going to pull you guys all over into the map so you can kind of see stuff that's going on here. So this is where we are right now. Kind of over here in the Bone Brambles. Right? This is the Demon Zapper, which you guys are going to try and head back to. In 1 week, over here. Yep. That's where you need to be in a week.
And where's this grave?
Uldrak's grave is this guy right here with the sword and helmet sticking up out of the dirt.
Okay, I presume. Just thought I'd check.
Yep.
All right.
Brian's not actually thinking; he's just eating wings or eating ribs.
Wings.
Yes.
All right. Meat.
I do
This
both.
is great. This is great. Oh, what happened in the game? Yes, game, of course. I agree.
Tasty.
So, you guys have some ideas of where you can go. You have a couple of different objectives available to you. You know that you have a means of freeing Ralzala if you can just get one of the bones buried in the dirt and the potion that she has given you. If you bring both of those back to her, she will be able to do a quick time step, make her oath, which will then free her, which would then allow you guys, she won't be there, so you'll just be able to break Uni out of her demon trap at the demon zapper. And you also know that in 1 week, over here on the map, that's where the Wandering Emporium will be if you want to turn in your demonic gift card.
It also sounds like that could, that could accomplish that loot thing that you were looking for also. Since it's an emporium.
Yep, there's all kinds of stuff for sale there. It's pretty huge. You guys have, you from your time in Fort Knucklebone that night where you guys were kind of drinking and hanging out around the fort before you did the whole dream sequence stuff with Mad Maggie, you would have heard them talking about it's their version. It's Avernus's version of Las Vegas on wheels. That's the best way I can describe it. Everything you could possibly want to buy, every experience you could possibly think of, all the worst people go there.
And worst is a relative term.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound so much like Vegas, but more like a casino in Oklahoma.
Well, let's
It's Atlantic City. It's Atlantic City.
It's Reno on acid. Is that better?
Oh.
It's Atlantic City on meth.
Isn't that just Atlantic City?
So at this point, you guys have got some stuff from Red Ruth. Is there anything else that you guys would like to say to her? Any further conversation? She is giving you your safety. You can get out of the Bone Brambles with ease. She has told you where you can find sanctuary. And there are not many places in Avernus where you can find a truly safe place. So if she has... as you know, devils have to follow through to the word of their contract, and because she promised you sanctuary, you know that if you can make it to the Wandering Emporium with that gift card, that you will truly be safe while you stay there. But getting there is the difficult part. She has also given you the potion and the means of which to free roll Zala. You just have one ingredient left that you would need to find. Is there anything else you guys want to do with Red Ruth, or do you want to take off out of the Bone Brambles and continue on?
Let's haul ass.
Do we want to find a place to rest since we're A, a little beat up, and B, out of spells?
I guess you didn't give a sanctuary, huh?
I mean, not here technically, but...
So, because you guys didn't specify where you would want the sanctuary, you know devils will stick to the letter, but not much beyond that. She didn't promise you sanctuary here. That was not part of the contract.
Dirty fucking lawyer trick.
I mean, to be fair, I would rather know where the Imperium is and have this gift card to get to it than here, because I don't like it here. So I'll take it. Technically, we did pretty much dispatch all of her guards, right? So we could rest in the Bone Brambles without the thought of getting lost, and then leave in the morning since it was so late, right?
Yeah, if you guys wanted to try to stay in the Bone Brambles, you could. If you wanted to try to get outside of them and sleep in your war machines that are parked on the outside, you could do that.
Thoughts?
Whatever gets us to where we need to be. We should probably just try to get back and free the unicorn, right?
Yeah, but something tells me digging up a bone is not going to be as simple as it sounds. And I know you were running out of spells. Severius was running out of spells.
Yeah.
Alatar.
Endless spells. Always have spells.
Endless spells.
Cantrips, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Valid.
As long as y'all don't get hurt too much, I don't have to heal you that much. So what do we think? Brambles or War Machine? Or just keep rolling?
Rest somewhere. Regardless of where I think we should leave here, but we definitely need to rest.
Part of me feels like we're less likely to encounter anything in the brambles still, since we did clear a lot of it out. I imagine she hasn't got guards already. Than just randomly out in the wilderness, get attacked by another roving party or something, but I could be wrong.
That's why you post a guard. Look out.
No rolls for Brambles. I vote Brambles.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, that'll work. Let's do it.
Okay, are you guys going to take a long rest or a short rest? Long rest is going to be 8 hours. Short rest is an hour.
Oh, for
And
low
short
on.
rest gets us no spells, right?
Correct. So one is just hit points, one is everything.
We need the spell slots.
Long it is.
I agree.
Let me do this here real quick. Okay, so I am going to do that. You guys say goodbye to Red Ruth. As you leave, she tells you, make sure you tell all your friends where to find me. I could always use some more soul coins. And you kids, stay clean, have fun. Tell Mahadi I said hello. And as she says that, it's almost as if the cavern that you're in is shrinking until all five of you kind of pop out. The cavern wall sliding down to the ground as if there had never been an entrance there before at all. Sitting in front of it is Snufflechops and Lulu, both of them looking completely forlorn until you guys come popping out, and then they both jump up and they're like, you disappeared. I didn't know where you went. And Snufflechops is slowly kind of wending its way in and out of Audrey's legs. Brr. Did not know where you went, sweetness. For whatever reason, they were not able to pass through the boundary into Red Ruth's domain, but they are still sitting here for you. Do you guys want to try to camp here in the center of the maze, or do you want to make your way toward the outer ring or outer edge before you decide to camp?
Right here is fine. Since the bones will take us out regardless, I would say having more of them in between us than anything else is probably better.
Okay.
So more of them ghosts come out of the shit and kill us.
That was the I could be wrong part of my argument.
That could be the I'm very wrong part of my argument. Let's do this. Let's have everybody, let's start here. I need everybody just to roll a flat D20 for me. 10 and up is a success, 9 and below is a failure. That's 2 successes.
Oops.
Audrey, you get to bring it home. We need a success or a failure from you.
Does everyone else see the same way the dice rolls? Is it the same for everyone?
Yeah. I mean, it I think it is. Like if it does like a quick last minute tip over, that kind of thing.
Yeah, when it looks like it's a 20 and then it goes to a 1.
Yep. So Nikki got us our 3rd success on that skill challenge. So you guys are good. So that's going to get you, as long as you are posting guards through the night, you guys will be able to get an 8-hour rest in without issue. If we want, Nikki, you can use the time with Audrey overnight to attune Piercer, that dagger short sword thing you've got. I can do that. That way you will be able to use it and get the full benefit from it. Let me go ahead and equip that sucker. and attune it for you. So you've got that set up as part of your 8 hours. Go ahead and do a long rest and set it to new day. I'm going to jump us ahead 8 hours. I'm just going to pause it there, 8 hours up.
I love the fact that you recover -5 hit points.
Yeah.
I understand it, but it still amuses me.
Feeling a lot stronger yesterday.
So that's Moon, Sphere, South Tower. Okay, everybody's got their rest in. Excellent. Okay, so that's going to get us back out to the map. So we'll say that you guys are able to traverse your way out of the Bone Brambles. Unsurprisingly, as you leave, each of you clutching the small carved, kind of black-etched knuckle bones that Red Ruth had given you. It's almost kind of like that, if you guys have ever seen Jim Henson's Labyrinth, when he first enters it, how it doesn't look like the labyrinth turns at all. It's just one straight passageway left and right. It's almost as if that's what happens to the Bone Brambles. It's almost as if there are no longer lefts and rights. There is just a clear corridor that leads to the very edge. You travel maybe 150, 200 yards, and you find yourself exiting out of the Bone Brambles. Maybe, let's say, half a mile from where you had entered it. And you can see your war machine still kind of hidden along the edge where you had placed them before going into the warped forest. It's almost as if, when you had originally entered and the traversed it to find the center, it felt as if you had walked miles and miles and miles, but as you exit, it is very, very quick. Almost as if the Bone Brambles is nowhere near as large as they had felt while you were in them. So... here's my question. We're at, that's about 3 hours in. I think this is probably a pretty good spot to call it. From here, you guys, well, let me ask you this. Where do you guys going next? Do you want to go to Uldrak's grave and try and reclaim a bone? Do you want to go back and tell Ralzala what you have found? Do you want to just try and make straight towards the Wandering Emporium so you're where it's going to be, so you're ready for it? What would you guys like to do?
I vote grave.
And this is where that grave is right there. So you guys are you're kind of equidistant between if you went north toward the Demon Zapper or south toward Uldrak's grave. From what you can see on the map, they look about the same distance. It's just one is going south, one is going north.
Yeah, probably grave.
I concur.
Okay. Do you guys want to continue for a bit? Do you want to call it a night there? This is probably a good breaking place, but I'd like to leave it up to you guys.
I'm good with calling it.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired.
Yep.
I woke up way early this morning.
All right. So let's. So we're gonna say you guys are heading towards. Are you guys gonna go kind of north around this lava, or south around it? Let's at least make that decision before we say goodnight.
I was thinking south.
Through the dark bone littered area or through the light bone littered area?
Either way, I'm good.
Fine. Well, let's do this. Let's have everybody roll one more flat d20. Eight, 2, 18, 15. 14. Excellent. Okay. So we will say that you guys have made it about a quarter of the distance there. So let me know. You want to flip a coin, top or bottom? I want to just get you guys kind of where you are on the map before we say goodnight, so I know where we're going to pick up.
Top.
Middle.
I can roll a D2. One is top, two is bottom.
It's fine. Flip a coin. I don't care.
All right, so you guys are heading around the bottom. So we're going to see you guys have made it to about there, and that's where we're going to call it. We'll come back in 2 weeks and finish our trip toward Uldrak's grave to locate one of the fallen Empyrean's bones in the hopes that we can use it to free up Ralzala and get our way to Uni. Everybody, thank you for a very fun night.
Thank you.
That was a blast. That fight against the treant did not go how I thought it would. You guys fucking burned him down way faster than I thought was going to happen based on his CR rating. That crit and the hit from Moon's sneak attack prior to that hit way harder than I fucking thought it was. Not to mention Guardian of Faith coming out and just slapping down 20 radiant damage at the start of his turn. He actually had the ability to call up 2 additional animated trees that are almost as strong as he is, so it was going to be like 3 of them versus you guys, and I never got the chance to cast a spell because he only got 2 rounds, 1 to move in, 1 to attack the arch, and then he was dead.
I was waiting for that. I knew they could do it, at least in Pathfinder, and I figured they could here.
Yeah, it's I just never got to that point because you guys burned him down. So I mean, he, just to put it in perspective, he's got 100 and some odd fucking hit points.
Wow. I was kind of surprised he was by himself, but I was going to question it.
Yeah, so he had 138 hit points, and you guys burned him down in 2 rounds. He never got a third action.
Excuse me, DM. Shouldn't there be more stuff just ready and waiting and willing to kill us?
I'm trying, but you guys are burning shit quick, and he was a CR appropriate monster for you guys. You're burning shit very fast.
All starting to come together.
Yeah, just means I gotta get harder. I gotta be more difficult.
You're gonna get hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna get super hard.
Or just do those summons first and then charge in.
Yeah.
Swole.
Yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll put up a quick recap, edit the video, and get this up in case you guys want to use it as a recap before the next session. And we will see how we could do traveling across the plains of Avernus. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Night.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Later.
Yeah.